Ndị nke mekene mụ no na lalokwala ofuma kedikunu mere. So guys, I just want to bring this to everybody's notice. What I see online, or when I go online on Facebook majorly, I go on Facebook majorly. So basically, I'm not really a Facebook person, but when I go on Facebook, just look around. What I see on Facebook is really disheartening. I na fucha onwanye funde dibia ana wawone enwelise. But then there were so many informations I needed in akuzi as ndị Igbo. Onwere ọtụtụ ife zuru ezu ihe do mmime bụ no a na-ebufute ebe a na-akụziri ya. Anya ma na-enwe time ị na-agbawa ọzọ n'incha na-agba on Facebook onye nke asị onye nke asịrị. I need them understand. For ndị na-anọrọ involved, ndị na-ada emife dibia, ndị na-ada emife eze nwanyị, but I even the spectators. I na-ekiriche na-afụcha onwe financial na-emena. Nke bụ eziokwu is that there so many informations out there. There are so many people doing the right thing. There are so many people naming for ordinary, nakuzi for ordinary, teaching about ordinary for the purpose of trying to revive our ancestral beliefs, culture, practices. But so many people out there, but the problem but lack of visibility. We need to know this. And if you see this video, you just understand where I'm coming from. And then when lack of visibility for strong people or for people who put the right thing. Now, we are saying that the empty barrels makes the loudest noise. Now, that's the same logic. Their voice now about the loudest. Now, each here, Facebook or Instagram algorithm, this is what they show you. Eba na violence, eba na kono, eba na culture menani, ebe mmadụ na ji scam mmadụ. Because what you are looking for, that's what the algorithm is going to show you. You understand? But everyone need the intentional in trying to manage what the algorithm, what is going to present to you. You can also do it. Because na ndị na-amacha ife ha na-enwe bụ ndị their voice bụ the loudest. Or this is no ka or ha abụzi ndị na-emete ya before menana na ndị na-emete for the nana. So ihe nchori na-emeziketa bro na ngasị na-enwegom the visibility or na-enwe the platform. But then nke my own effort in making sure that the same information is on there. Because personally, I go on field walks in AJ, I got to Chandor Kenya, observe. Kirie Jinanyam Fuefa name, draw question understand. And periodically, I like to just listen to what people say online. I do my own independent search, independent readings. Now, you might not be opportune in with the same sources or the same books or the same YouTube documentaries in our watch that I learned from. You might not really be lucky enough, but what I can actually do is to bring those sources and present them to and bring them to my channel, adding my own voice to what they are teaching as well. Now, from now henceforth, I'm gonna accuse my own as the little part of my microphone that I'm then carry an online video, even from other cultures, whether within Africa or Asia, other continents. I can bring in information from them and also teach, because I problem of a limited worldview. We need to expand our worldview. Now, when we understand or see other people or see other places, this is where we will basically start to realign ourselves and recondition what we see, our spirituality, how we perceive it, how we interact with it, by basically just waking ourselves and our spirits up. And I try kind of met in other places, motakwana ife from them. And nkebu na I gave video tata with a full video nwanne m nwoke maka bụ onye Nnewi and ọ bụ onye Nnewi na-alụọ ka njeje too ya afa because ịma na enwe different kinds of mentors bụ onwe ndị bụ ndị nwe like a close interaction with ndị na-eje afọ ịkụ aka n'ọnụ ụzọ ha emepere gị ụzọ, you discuss with them. And the second mentors bụ ndị bụ no, you've never seen them, you've never even you just maybe probably that you read one or two books from ihe onye ahụ there. Then subconsciously onye ahụ na-emetọ gị, nwere ka ọ bụrụ onye nwụrụ anwụ sị bụ na onye ahụ na-emetọ gị na onwe ka ọ bụrụ vie ihe onye ahụ na-ekiri. Nze Tobe Osigwe, like I know that I'm really grateful na enwe ndị dịka na-eme exist n'ụwa anụmanụ na ntetere wee na-achọ ịmụ maka ife ndị nna ha mere yọta. Now I had a problem one certain time when I was trying to wrap my head around this whole concept of polygamy yọta, because rationally I'm a very rational person. How I perceive things is that if it is good for the goose, it has to be good for the gander. So when we came to this whole polygamy idea, I was really struggling because it's as if we now live in a world where the society allows men to sleep around, destroy their homes, and nobody is holding them accountable in the name of it is a cultural thing to do. But then they don't that same morality, or they don't also extend that same courtesy to women. There's under the perception of a woman can never do it, she's not again a culture, ajani this one, that one. But then on the other hand, you see this man, oh yes, a man can sleep around without even trying to understand that your actions, you cheating on her or basically betraying her love or whatever, it's affecting that woman mentally, it's affecting her mental health and psychologically. So no matter how you try to span it, it is a cultural thing that women are being jealous for nothing. That does not mean anything, because mother and mother who feelings, emotions. Now I believe that culture or no culture, every culture is supposed to tend, heal, and help people to grow. So any culture ML institute tuna adenoka and will a minority on a affect, and there is a need to revisit that particular culture. And my opinion on your, so this is what I had in mind. So I was really struggling at that point, which basically prompted me to meet in Nze Tobe. Enjoy it online on Instagram. I texted him and said, this whole idea of polygamy, I don't really understand it though, because it's not really polygamy per se, because he had a miserable polygamy. But let's, for the sake of this conversation, so it's an amount of that I need to understand this. He now said that sadly, and where any cultural institution or foundation that holds a man accountable when he betrays and cheats and maltreats his wife, and where any spiritual cultural foundation email institute. Now we know it because of patriarchy, but that's not the conversation. So and where anyone jide working man based on nandi bondibo makasi where free here we jide that aspect where institute a spiritual foundation that holds women accountable in that regard. But he now also said something. Now said that does not mean that this our culture, our spirituality permits promiscuity, which most men now translate to as polygamy. No making sense, because the idea of this whole polygamous in nature is coming biologically. It's the testosterone, the hormones no working around. Because ordinary one, but no working with a higher level of testosterone, which is basically responsible for a man's masculine features and also a man's sexual activeness. Only problem in that area, man not get problem with fertility. Yeah, okay, one problem it one. So this is what men are polygamous in nature. But the truth is that most men are not parallel to these men are polygamous in nature has never even heard the word testosterone. Because this is the main thing na-eme nwoke ọ dị nnọọ ka ha na-akọfada akọcha. Now there are so many factors that can even affect that testosterone. Stress can affect it. Alcohol, mmanya na-aṅụcha, all these careless lifestyles, a lot of things can affect testosterone. So it is and this misconception about men are polygamous in nature. Because if you are trying to be, honest, the testosterone means that in a higher libido than the woman, but it does not affect akonuche. It does not affect your akonuche in any way. Because there's this podcast I watched one time, and the podcast was on the notion of men are always on the idea that they cannot control what that part of them does, but they can actually be disciplined enough to stay focused and achieve, success. Whether or business or they are disciplined in that regard, but obviously in that other area. So I say, now mind you, I'm not against polygamy. Only understand the polygamy would never be against polygamy. I'm not against polygamy, but anything I name, let's know that our ancestors did things for a reason, and we need to also try to fall in line and try to understand, derive wisdom from them, and try to basically know how we relate with one another. Now, understand that our ancestral cultural practices were fixated on trying to profile comparable characteristics. Now, practices, culture, all these things is because our practices have to be complementary to each other. After a woman now, you have to fall into a feminine role, and a man, you have to fall into a masculine role. That's why in Igbo culture, if you na umuwoke na-eriji na-eme iriji, nwanyi na-eme fede. Now the problem borrow when the woman wants to abandon ifo bonyanwa nature nyere, her natural feminine roles, and wants to you're abandoning it totally and moving into the masculine role. Ever came with a lack, ever came with a problem. But even with that nature, sometimes and then with fluidity ends in the sense that at some point those things are not characterized as this is the gender roles. You have to be this. There are sometimes you can compare them. In the sense that sometimes if woman things outside of the feminine role or outside of the feminine purview. The same thing with if your name to one. Now all those things at some point are they complementary. So as a man, I gauge we now have to use our mind to now basically know what we are supposed to do as a people, to now know how we are supposed to live our life, because every gender role or every culture may institute, it's supposed to complement us in order to enable us to exist in this world together. It is not a war, a broad war. It is not a situation of ihana someone ge ha na azo de form azo katazo chi form unu zotaze he nwana na azo. And what next? So most times when I look at things in MH online, I see lack of compassion, and I see people acting from the point of ignorance. So it also basically led me to meet up with Nze and ask Nze, why is this like this, and why is this that way? Because I'll make you sense. So but now everything. Same, don't forget them with subjective interpretation. Madam make a free hair mana or to where may interpret those where hotel go get the next person. So all those is a problem anyway. Akawa kuma kokofe jekwe time ihe na chọrọ ime tata bụ ka ibido na ebupute videos. Ifu video ndị mma na-ekwu if the real thing bụ ihe eji amalụ ndị ọdịnala, you bring it out. you bring it out and you show to your own part of the content. So tata Tobe kwuru maka agwu, ihe ọkọwa maka agwu no, which like this the video was beautifully said, resonated with me on so many levels. I even added to the knowledge. Mandima Amar, especially when he said something about asking aguna mad or not in a negative sense. On a bro na mama like aguna me mad go ezuzu. No. Because Agwu represents God, and God is an epitome of order. If you water second and look, I say that God is not the author of a confusion, but look, count. So I learned so many things from his video, from his expression, and also to where they delivered the message. It was flawless. So with that being said, let's check out his video. Okay, let's check out his video and let's learn. It's a learning process, or it's a learning time for me. Join me, yeah guys. Yeah.
Agwu ya na ogwu, agwu ya na ogwu. Ka people malife di ishe between agwu na ogwu. Gịnị bụ agwu? Agwu means endlessness. Agwu endlessness. Agwu ife enweghị mbido, ife enweghị njedebe, or ife amaro mbido, ife amaro njedebe. It's like saying God, because onwe ya akawa n'ife wu God. Onye ona na-ekwu Chukwu, onwe ya akawa n'ife wu Chukwu. So, Agwu is the fountainhead of all knowledge. This is why in the Igbo ji wee kpọọ ya Agwu isi ọra. And as much as people have corrupted it, now where Agwu nsi, people say Agwu nsi. Agwu nsi is a corrupted version of the original meaning, which is Agwu isi ọra. Agwu isi, that is, Agwu is the head, the source of all knowledge, remedies, and revelation. So Agwu isi, not Agwu nsi. People have perversed it and are saying Agwu nsi, and that is Ekonsi and all that. No, it's Agwu isi from Onuafa, Agwu isi ọra. So Agwu bụ otu ndị nna ifa, ndị Igbo si wee ghọta otu ụwa si wee dị omimi. Remember, I said Agwu is the fountainhead of all knowledge, is the source of all knowledge. So Agwu is the creative essence, the creative spark the universe unleashes in any man, which is used to deconstruct, understand, and bring order to your own part of the world. So Agwu enweghị mbido, onweghị njedebe, otu atụpelu, otu aka ya amadebe. So I want to believe that Agwu is the closest our people came to worship the creator of the universe. This means, for onye ọbụla ịghọta ụwa, Agwu ga-enyere onye ahụ aka. Onye Agwu nyelo aka is the person that can deconstruct this world, the universe. That means ndị Agwu malụ bụ ndị ya ejenelu obodo fa ozi, or ndị ya ejenelu this world, humanity ozi. So Agwu heightens someone's consciousness. It heightens your state of consciousness. So Agwu is onye Agwu malụ onye nwe a heightened state of consciousness. Ịmana anyị wawo mmadụ nwere anya mana ya ada afụ ụzọ. Anyị nwere ntị mana ya ada anụ ife. Anyị nwere ọnụ mana ya ada ekwu ife dum n'ime obi anyị nụ. Ife anyị na-ekwu ife anyị chọọ ka people wee nụ. The real thing anyị na-eche n'ime anyị aha ekwu ewite ọnụ anyị. So Agwu is a heightened state of consciousness. You see beyond what other people are seeing. You hear beyond what other people are hearing. So, but let me make this clear first. Agwu dị n'ime onye ọbụla dị ndụ. Agwu dị n'ime onye ọbụla dị ndụ. Mana the level of Agwu manifestation or realization differs. Because I say that Agwu is the creative essence. Onwere onye nwere the creative essence n'ime. Onwere onye nwere that God factor n'ime nu. Mana at times that God factor is dormant n'ime onye ahụ. So, but onye Agwu mali is like a God realized, not like, is a God realized being. Professor Umedele akwụkwọ say after God is dibia. Why oji wekwu after God is dibia? Or say God wolu chaha na dibia wolu. That means na dibia no in a heightened state of consciousness. Gefe me God with the ability to create, ability to sustain, and ability to dissolve. That's the quality of a God, the ability to create, the ability to sustain, and the ability to dissolve. And dibia, only with that heightened state of consciousness, with the ability to create, the ability to sustain, and the ability to dissolve. is this heightened state of consciousness, this agwu ino n'ime mmadụ, nya na-bring this ability to create, to dissolve, and to sustain. So onye ọbụla dị ndụ bụ mmadụ, mana ọ bụrụ onye ọbụla dị ndụ ka mmadụ na-egosi na ndụ fa. Ọ bụrụ onye ọbụla dị ndụ ka mmadụ na-egosi na ndụ fa. Tụ aka onye ọbụla si wee nwe agwụ, mana ọ bụrụ onye ọbụla ya wakeninya bụ agwụ wee welie wee jee ozi, that godlike consciousness, that state of God. Ụfọdụ na-ekwu that man is a god. Eziokwu na man bụ a god. If a man is not actually a god, every man has potential to be a god, but that does not mean that you can exercise that potential. Onwe height elu, that potential will be what? Awakened. So onye agwụ malụ onye luo na that godlike potential and can exercise it. So when we say that man is God, it's true to an extent. The only extent is that you have that potential, you have that creative spark in you. Agwụ nọ n'ime gị, but has it been awakened? Has it been awakened? So onye nwere agwụ bụ a mini god on earth. Onye nwere agwụ bụ a mini god on earth. O nwere mmụọ ji eji wee bugoni, o nwere mmụọ ji eji ebutu. That is the power to create, sustain, and destroy. At this juncture, it's pertinent I clear this misconception, common misconception. N'ala Igbo, ọ na-awụ onye na-akpa aghara asị na agwụ na-akpa onye ahụ. Ọ bụrụ eziokwu. Ọ bụrụ agwụ ahụ ka anyị na-ekwu, ọ bụrụ eziokwu. Onye ọbụla agwụ mala agwụ anyị na-ekwu, onye ọbụla agwụ mala will be the noblest soul you will find where he or she is existing. Agwụ abụrụ mmụọ aghara, agwụ anyị na-ekwu abụrụ mmụọ gono, ọ bụrụ mmụọ aghara. Agwụ abụrụ mmụọ nzuzu, agwụ abụghị mmụọ aṅụrịma, agwụ abụghị mmụọ ekwulekwu. Mba, agwụ is the activated creative impulse of God in man. And one thing about God is what? Order. Therefore, Agwu is all about order, organization, and natural what? Progression. Agwu is about order, organization, and natural progression. We need to understand what is Agwu, because there is a lot of misconception about Agwu. Mmadụ ya ga-adị ezuzu asị na agwụ na-akpọ onye ahụ. Mmadụ a na-akụka asị na agwụ na-akpọ onye ahụ. The only link between onye na-akpa aghara or mmadụ ịda na makpa ya eweala asị na agwụ na-amụ onye ahụ is that na mgbe gboo onye agwụ malụ is like someone that have separated himself from the society. I'm sorry, let me use a Christian analogy here. Think of John the Baptist when he separated himself and he was living in the wilderness eating locusts and honey. Or his very strange behavior. Or if for that kind of scenario, asị na agwụ malụ onye ahụ. As in, he be the normal life every other person need. He has separated himself from the society. So, because of all this kind of separation, onye agwụ malu o separate you onwe or look at, let me give like science. I'll be in the field of science about Einstein. Then in agwụ malu in their own way or in their own culture. If you separate you onwe, you see look or no he come be see or no in inside room or no inside room for three days. That's what they mean by no nya na-eme ka onye agwụ malụ. Ọ bụrụ onye na-ezuzu ezuzu ese na agwụ malụ the person. No, there is a form of order, there is a method to that madness a na-ekwu okwu. Onye agwụ malụ, there is a method to his or her madness. So ka wee hot if a na-ekwu ebe that saying si wee bịa na onye na-eme ka onye agwụ malụ. Onye separate lo onwe, but there is a method to the madness. So now 5 things we should know about agwụ. 5 things we should know about Agwu. Agwu is beyond ndị Igbo. Ọ bụrụ sọ ndị Igbo na-eme agwụ. I give example of about Einstein now. I give example about Einstein. Though he was a Jewish German scientist that later migrated to America. I give example of John the Baptist. Agwu, ndị Yoruba na-eme agwụ, ndị Hausa na-eme agwụ, ndị China na-eme agwụ, ndị India na-eme agwụ, ndị Russia na-eme agwụ, ndị ọna na-eme agwụ in their own way. So aiwa ndị Igbo nwee ife anyị na-akpọ agwụ ahụ, and then agwụ ka anyị na-akpọ that heightened consciousness. And well, if I na-akpọ agwụ, heightened state of heightened consciousness. Remember, man, I said that man is a god, but man with potential a god, but that state of godliness or he exhibit that godlike potential has not been activated. So onye activate na nke onye activate na nke onye achake na nke onya ife a na-ekwu na agwụ malụ mmadụ. Consciousness ya go heightened. Ina afọ ife inwe ike na afọ ife na akpọ ya ife omunya nwa na afọ that another thing nefe ahụ na akpọ ife. So what we call Agwu is the creative force of nature and is not limited to the Igbos. Oburo sa iwa na-eme agwụ. Onye ọbụla nọ n'ụwa ebe ọ na-eme agwụ, but na-eme in your own different way. Nwe afa for it. Ndị na-eje ụka kịta ife ha na-akpọ Holy Spirit is still the same Agwu. The Spirit of God n'ime mmadụ is still Agwu, mmụọ Chineke. Ife anyị kpọrọ ya wa Agwu. Number 2, Agwu abụghị so onye na-eme dibịa ka ọ na-ama. Ọ bụrụ so onye na-eme dibịa ka Agwu na-ama. For you to get to a certain level in your profession, for you to get to the zenith of your profession, for you to be separated, for you to be called an authority in a particular field, I'm telling you that now we are amalili onye ahụ. For you to be as in a celebrated scientist, when I mean scientist of repute, onye mepụtara na something, an inventor, a philosopher, a doctor, an engineer, a pastor, a imam, a guru, a business genius, Agwu ya amayo. Agwu ahụ ife na-separate you from the rest of others na-eme that thing. Agwu na-ebute ife dị iche. So Agwu adịghị limited to onye na-eme dibịa. I don't believe that na mmadụ ya eme any serious discovery without Agwu. In the field of science, in the field of arts, no serious discovery can be made without Agwu. So Agwu is not limited to what? Dibia. Even self, if you dibia, a dibia is an expert in knowledge. So at times I need a limited definition of the word dibia so that we misconstruct the word dibia. Number 3, onye Agwu amaghị alụgolu ya Agwu ya ama the person. Ụfọdụ ndị na-eme ya apụtasị na ya alụlụ mmadụ Agwu. Onye Agwu malụ ka a na-alụlụ Agwu. Each society nwere ka ha si ashapụ ya. I made mention of the Jewish societies. Ha nwere ife a na-akpọ Kabbalah. They know how ha si prepare onye Agwu malụ in their own way, in their own culture. Each culture with the same way of achieving the same thing on name. So man onye Agwu amaghị na-alụlụ ya Agwu, you are wasting resources. Ezigbo Agwu, onye Agwu mala ife a na-ebu ebu abịọwa ọ natalushi. Agwu ife a na-ebu ebu abịọwa. Ife a na-alụlụ ya Agwu ahụ is for proper coordination to channel it very well, and also for him or her to be inducted into the midst, the fellowship of those who have done that thing before him or her. Ndị ba isi n'obu onye ụzọ wee si wite na aka enwegono mkpọmkpọ ife. Efu ndị ụka mmadụ ewe pastor asị na ordain in the priestly order of Melchizedek. That means a na-etigo na the line of this priesthood ndị mee nefe abifie wee bịa. The same way anyị na-alụlụ mmadụ Agwu a na-try itigo in the order of ndị mee na that thing bifie wee megono iwee bịa wee bịara ime enu, which means they are the ones that will aid you in the work that you have come to do. So also onye Agwu malụ ka a na-alụlụ Agwu. Onye Agwu malụ ka a na-alụlụ Agwu, or no in the dibia form, or no kwa in another form, or no onye ha chọrọ ime dibia no nwere form ọzọ chọrọ ịchanel Agwu ya ahụ to aya edozili ya ọnọdụ ka o wee nwee proper coordination. Aya edozili ọnọdụ ka o wee megono proper coordination and ka o wee maximize that godlike potentials in him. Now, number 4, Agwu na-atụ ka mfụ, ọha agba ka ngwọ. Onye Agwu malụ na-atụ ka nkwụ, ọ bụrụ onye ọsịsọ. Onye Agwu malụ follows the order of nature. It doesn't destroy nature. Onye ọna na follow nature, we understand that nature is about gradual growth. If you settle down to study nature, you find that nature is about what? Gradual growth. If you na-eji ọ na-eji nwayọ before nwali efu na ebe niile change na from as in daylight to darkness. If you na-efukwa nwayọ gradually oisi a na-epu nwayọ ya no kata nene efi am oto pam. No, otu aka Agwu na-atụ ka nkwụ, ọ da agba ka ngwọ. So onye ọ na Agwu malụ follows that same order of nature. Agwu bụ ọkpụtọlọkpụ, ọ nwayọ ka o ji ede na-aga. And all that ọkpụtọlọkpụ mere Agwu ahụ emesi efu ọkada residue akado there, another person abịakwa continue from it. So Agwu na-atụ ka nkwụ, ọha agba ka ngwọ. That's what brings its longevity. Ọ na-aga from generation to generation. Now number 5, ife kwesịrị maka Agwu. Agwu ensures what? Balance. Agwu ensures balance. Agwu na-eme amụọ dike na mba, amụọ dike na mba ọzọ. Remember, the first one ngwala unu that Agwu is beyond ndị Igbo. Ọ bụrụ sa ịwa na-eme agwụ. Onwuhu mba ihe eje ka ị ghara efu onye agwụ malụ. Onwere mba ihe eje ka ị ghara efu ehela. Onwuhu mba ihe eje ka ị ghara efu onye na-ekwu eziokwu. Onwere mba ihe na-eje ka ị ghara efu a savior. Agwu na-eme these things. Oti mmadụ ebe otu jee na mba ọzọ tikwa that same kind of person. Agwu ensures balance. Agwu na-eme sickness bịa ewotakwa the person ndị ya ama anya that sickness wota ndị ya bring a solution to that sickness. Agwu na-eme ebute problem create ndị ya solve that problem. So Agwu ensures balance in this world, in this nation, to ensure continuity of life. Agwu kuzielu gị ife, oje kuzikwala onye ọzọ that same thing. Agwu ife na-eme na ebe ọbụla ị nọ in this world, ị ga-amani Chukwu, ị ga-agwọ n'ọrịa, ị ga-enweta nri. You can assess that particular environment. Also, you will know that that particular environment will desert. Agwu will create the process of food, the process of how you can find God, create the process of how you can heal sickness with if you do within that environment. Ndị ba iji segono nkodo na mba na-egelo mba nni. Or Agwu ya kuzili ndị nọ ebe ahụ. The selected people Agwu ahụ malo within that environment. Kuzielu fa if you do na that environment aye ha yeji we sustain onwe fa. Ha yeji we sustain their livelihood, their existence in that very world environment. That's why a born in life, you will see life there. Life is being sustained. When being a chije no way as no nyaka wankalicha. Forget this impression that people now they create where that the grass is greener on the other side. When you give opportunity to Ndagumalo within your own environment, you see that they can polish that, they will bring solutions. If I feel not do a beni, he will the alternative. If one nation provide that thing there. The job of every society, of every community is to know their prophets, is to know their teachers, is to know their scientists, to know their inventors. Because Agwu place give in every environment of the world, in every corners of the world. Because the job of Agwu is to do what? Maintain balance. Now, Agwu, so that vis-a-vis we can Agwu Ogwu. Gunubo Ogwu. Ogwu means Ogwugwo. Ogwu means what? Ogwugwo. Otu Agwu si we mean what? Agwu endlessness. Ogwu means what? Ogwugwo. That is healing. Whether you are talking about physical drug, Ogwu ana or metaphysical drugs, nke a na-esu atikpa, nke a na-aka mmadụ na-arụ, they are the same thing. Maka people na condemn Ogwu, onye ona na condemn Ogwu, a condemn kwuo na normal Ogwu a na-enye ụma na ụlọ ọgwụ. They are the same thing. Feni na hold the same thing is to achieve the same purpose, which is what? Healing. The full meaning of Ogwu. Also, ya wulu na ase na agwọ ọgwụ agwụ na na-eme nke a na na-eme. All this Ogwu is what? Healing. Even nke ahụ na-aṅụ n'ụlọ ọgwụ, ọgwụgwọ ka agwọli ya no. Ije the process of ebe na manufacture ọgwụ, efukwa na ọgwụgwọ ka ha na-agwọkwa ọgwụ. Medicine is being prepared. Ogwu eji agwọ mmadụ. A na-prepare. So, Ogwu simply means what? Healing. Ogwu comes in. Ebife adeye. Mobu ebife mebile mebi. So, Ogwu is used to restore or boost. Ebife mebie ejilo Ogwu restore efa or boost to that thing. Ke we ma na ye emegono. Aye heal on that problem. Aye providing a solution to that problem. Onye ahụ adịghị mma ya aṅụlile ọgwụ. Onye ahụ adịghị ka a na-achọla ọgwụ. Onye ahụ adịghị mma ka a na-achọla ọgwụ. Onye ahụ adịghị ka a na-achọla ọgwụ. Agwu, not Ogwu now. Agwu bụ ọnatalushi, mana ọgwụ bụ ogono aka amelo. Every form of ọgwụ ogono aka amelo. Mana Agwu bụ ọnatalushi. Ogwu bụ dibia ma ọ bụ ọkachamalo na-agwọ ọgwụ ka o jiri wee nyelu ndụ ndị mmadụ aka ma ọ bụ nyelu ndị uwe ezughị oke aka. Ogwu adịghị njọ. There is no difference between Ogwu enyelu mmadụ n'ụlọ ọgwụ na nke mmadụ jelu dibia wee jegwọ. Ọ dọghọlụ ngwele mma o wee makpulu. Onye nwee problem na-eje asọ a look for solution. The problem is ọ na-ahụ adọghọghị iwe na-achọ ọgwụ, inweghị problem iwe na-achọ ọgwụ. That is where problem is. Ọba abuse. You are not sick and you are taking medicine. It becomes abuse. Just like ogwu na-aṅụ medicinal drugs and all this herbal, you can abuse them. It's the same way with all these metaphysical drugs. It can also be abused. Man, onye ahụ adịghị ya achọlele ọgwụ. Onye ife na-emebi ya achọlele ọgwụ. Here I'm not trying to distinguish between metaphysical drugs and medicinal drugs. Onye ahụ adịghị ya eje chọlele ọgwụ. Ebe nsogbu do ọ na imi dị ọgwụ ije na-achọ ọgwụ. Ọ na ahụ odogo ije na-achọ ọgwụ. or that you are fit but you don't want to accept that you are fit, ị na-achọ ọgwụ. Ife ifuru iwolu, onye ahụ duje na-achọ ọgwụ dịka onye wolu ife a na-agba na ntị wee na-agba n'anya. Now let me end with this. 5 things we should know about Agwu. Agwu is a good servant but a bad master. When Agwu takes over your life, it will wreck you. When you allow Agwu to be a master in your life, it will wreck you, because it's supposed to aid and not to take over. Or any form of Agwu, like I said, I'm not trying to make a distinction in this teaching about Agwu. Any form of Agwu is a good servant but a bad master. It's not supposed to take over your life. Number 2, Agwu Ibualo. Most terrible stories we hear in Ordinana comes from Agwu. Agwu Ibualo or pardon. Number 3, Agwu na agbaka ngwo. Agwu nwere expiry date. Agwu nwere expiry date. The same way Agwu na-aṅụ si nwe expiry date. Otu aka Agwu na-agwụ si nwe expiry date. Ọ na-agbọ ka ngwo. Ife ọ na-agbọ ka ngwo ya enwelili expiry date. Ọ ya afịa apịa emegono o end ya. Number 4, oke ọgwụ ya eli mmadụ. Oke ọgwụ ya eli mmadụ. And ife ikwesịrị ịma to avoid na polo akọwa họlụ mefu ọfụma. Oke ọgwụ ya eli mmadụ. Ọ na-eli nwa. Ọ na-eli mmadụ. You have to be informed. Before you na-atry ije na-awaka ife you are not ready for, or what you will not be able to stand its repercussion. Agwu, as opposed to Agwu, ensures balance. Agwu ensure balance. Mana Agwu is used for survival of the fittest. Ndị show you dominate in them mmadụ, ndị show you enslave in them mmadụ, ndị show you dispossess mmadụ. Why Agwu seeks to create balance? If na mmadụ no ndị emebughị mmadụ ibe na onye oppress onye ka nji ekwu that ifo otu Agwu si operate is that what ife enyela onye try ya jekwa the other person ka eme ego no ka enye ọ na use hozi nkego nke ahụ dolo n'aka ya ekwu na enye ha unu. For example, ife niile anyị na-ejele obodo oyiwo achọ, most of the things we are looking for is right here with us. If all the wolf our gono ayewa inye ohere for ndị Agwu mmalụ ịpụta eme ego no brush ya those things, and we will see that those opportunities that we are looking for is what here. Ka na-enye ndị obodo oyiwo scientists, na-enye ha inventors, otu a ka esi enyekwa anyị scientists, otu a ka esi enye anyị inventors. O nwere ife ị na-achọ ịchọ in any religion, ihe afọkwa in another religion. All the scientists that you are looking for, all the people with the technical know-how, they are there in your community, in your own space. Oh, ife Agwu na-eme mana on shower for domination on abawa Agwu. Unejili we exploit others. Agwu is an instrument of exploitation. I'm not condemning anyone, because all these things are part of nature. Nature we fonye cholo ko na afo. There is nothing good or bad in nature. It's what you ask out of nature that you get out of it. Is what you seek is what you will find. Or you find is a man if you find the ladologemma or not the hologemma. So why I'm explaining all this is that most times we are giving bad names to what our forefathers did or what is there to save us. Maagwu, Moagwu, we give all of them bad name. Rather for us to do what? To understand it and see how we can use it to do what? Solve the problem of our existence. Thank you.